Let's say we send out 500 text messages and people are going to start responding. How are we going to know? Where are those responses going to show up?
You're going to start getting your notification bell filling up. So as texts start pouring in, this notification count is just going to keep increasing. And then once you read it or manually acknowledge it, it goes away. So there's a notification center where you can keep track of that. And within here, I'm just going to deal with new text messages. Here's all the text messages that I have not yet replied to or manually acknowledged, meaning I'm not going to do anything with it right now. You might get a text from someone that's not one of your tenants. Therefore, it's not going to get linked to their tenant file because there's no tenant file for them, but it'll still show up in your notification center because maybe it's a new phone number from them you don't have on file. So then you could just pick up the conversation right from here and add the phone number to their account. And now the history is automatically there, everything starting from when you didn't even know who they were.
One question that usually people have is, how much will this cost us? And I can answer that. Emailing is just included with the system, right? We don't have to pay anything in the back end for emailing. If you have Spire, you'll have the ability to send these emails. Text messages are pennies. They're less than 3 cents. It depends on how many messages you buy, but you can basically buy a bundle of messages. And the more that you buy up front, the less money they will cost. We're trying to make this as accessible as possible and very competitive with the marketplace. Can they send photos?
Tenants can send you whatever attachments they want, and then it'll come through on the text message. And then also with your emails.
Who will see the notification?
Technically, anyone that has permissions. There's also notifications. A lot are also user-based. As far as the messaging goes, if you have permissions to do messaging, then you'll get the notifications.
So you'd also have to have permission to that specific building. Can everyone from our property management company see all of the text and email chains, histories that are sent from our company, or is the history chain only on the individual Spire login that sent it?
It's global. So if you have permissions to do the text messaging, for example, then you could see all the text messages for the buildings that you have access to.
Are the emails within MDS separate from our other email addresses? Or are they, let's say we have a Gmail, does it all sync through Gmail? Same question for SMS.
Yes, a great question. The emails, when you set up your account, you're going to link a Google account, a 365 or Office account, Microsoft account, put in your credentials, it'll link it up, and then actual messages that you send and receive through Spire will be in your inbox. That's true for the one-on-one messages. Bulk messages work a little different. They go through what's called SMTP. With any bulk email system, it has to go through SMTP, and then it's up to the software provider to show you tracking information or not, and that's why we show tracking information. We still show the message sent that was sent for only from Spire. You're not going to see it in your email account, but you can definitely see the message from the tenant's file.
There's a question whether or not the text bundles expire. As of now, they do not. That could change in the future, but right now, anything that you buy will not expire. What text address or number shows up when received by a tenant?
Each client that signs up gets their own specific number. It will work with you. It's going to be a new phone number that becomes yours.
When will the price menu be available? We have it. I'll work with your account executive to follow up with you on that. And of course, anybody else that would like similar, we're happy to provide that. How do tenants get alerted to the fact that they can opt out? In order to work with the back-end providers that provide these types of services, you need to prove to them that you're not a spammer, essentially. And you need to tell them what your business case is. We do have on our roadmap to add in the ability where it will automatically tell them, like, text stop to opt out. And then we also have the ability to click unsubscribe from an email. But with that said, you're all in the same boat, right? Because you all have leases with the residents. Like we explained our specific business case. If you're doing commercial text messaging, you are required to include an opt-out functionality on that. But for these types of informational type messages, you are not required to do that. So you shouldn't be shy to start using a system like this without that.
But if they tell you that they don't want to receive messages, you can click on their tenant file, opt out for text or email. But it's our understanding that we're not spamming them. We're really just carrying on conversations that we could obviously legally have on the phone. Nothing's legal advice. You could call somebody up and say, hey, you owe $1,000. And you can text them the same thing. within reason.
That's what we've worked with providers on.
Is there any way to have auto billing assigned to the property once the messages are sent, i.e. billing fee is $1,000 a month and we use $40 in messages? Can it be automatically implemented as an adjustment?
These things are always rolled out in phases, and we're working on the ability to just handle all this billing automatically through the back end. For instance, if somebody wants to buy 10,000 text messages, we want you to be able to plug a credit card in or bank account information and just pay for it. So we will take that into consideration when we're building that system.